Welcome to the Oxygen Alliance YouTube channel, where we bring you videos on installation, maintenance, and various trainings on oxygen equipment and devices. If you have comments and or questions, drop them in the comment section below or write to us info@oxygenalliance.org. Remember to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell.
Hello and welcome. My name is Foster Sendala and I'm a biomedical engineer for the Oxygen Alliance. Today, I'm with my colleague
Victor Nzembe, and I am also a biomedical engineer for Oxygen Alliance. Today, we bring you a second episode of the video series where we take you through the troubleshooting of low oxygen purity in various models of oxygen concentrators. So stay with us.
So, in the first episode of our video series, we looked at two causes of low oxygen purity in oxygen concentrators. We looked at leakages and unstable voltages. You can find a link in the video description below. Today, we'll continue looking at the other causes of low oxygen purity in an oxygen concentrator. Firstly, we'll look at dirty or clogged filters. When air inlet filters are clogged or dirty with dust or debris, this affects the amount of air that is drawn inside the oxygen concentrator by the air compressor. This usually reduces the amount of air pressure that is being generated by the air compressor to be supplied to the sieve beds for the process of pressure swing adsorption. Therefore, air intake filters need to be regularly checked to see whether they are clean or whether they are functioning properly. Whenever you see that they are dirty, you might either wash them or replace with a new filter. Now, I'll show you how you can access the air intake filter inside an oxygen concentrator, how you can remove it and wash it. So, for today, I'll be using the Sysmet M50 oxygen concentrator, and I'll show you how you can access the air intake filter. So, in most models of oxygen concentrators, you find the air filter placed at the back of the machine, and to access it, you just pull the cover and here we have our intake filter. To remove it, you just pull it out from its place and then you can go and wash it. So after washing the filter and air drying it, I'll now put it back into the machine. So that is how you can access and clean the air intake filter of an oxygen concentrator.
Another cause of low oxygen purity is a defective control valve, which is often called a four-way valve. This valve regulates the flow of air between the compressor, receive beds, and the exhaust. Variations of these valves exist across different oxygen concentrator models. A faulty control valve can prevent the proper switching of airflow, and this will result in the oxygen concentrator failing to produce the required oxygen concentration. Today, I'll make a demonstration of this problem using a DeVille-BIS 525 oxygen concentrator, which uses a rotary valve as the control valve. Now, I'll turn on the oxygen concentrator and connect the oxygen analyzer to observe purity readings. So I'll wait for at least 5 minutes before I observe the purity readings. So as you can see, the oxygen concentrator is showing a service indicator light. So I'll just connect the oxygen analyzer to observe the purity readings. As you can see, the analyzer is showing a purity of about 22%, which is relatively low. Assuming that you have verified that the correct voltage is supplied to the machine, the filters are green and there are no leakages, you can go ahead and open the unit to inspect the valve. So to do this, I will use a T25 screwdriver. So after opening the unit, now we can have access to the rotary valve that we are talking about. So to inspect the valve, I will also turn on the unit to see how it is rotating. So as you can see, the valve has stopped rotating. So I'll switch off the concentrator and take you through the different ways how to troubleshoot this problem. So different problems can cause the valve to stop rotating. So the first thing that you have to do is to inspect the wire connections within the unit. So in this case, I will inspect all the wire connections that come from the valve to the control board. So I will check if this wire harness is connected properly to the rotary valve. So as you can see, this one is fixed. After checking the wire connection on the valve, I will also check the wire connection on the board. So I will just check here to see if it's connected properly. So as you can see, it's to stay connected. So I will just make sure that it's properly connected on the board. So I will push it. So after that, I will then switch on the concentrator to see if that fixes the service alarm. So you can now see that the valve is rotating properly, unlike when the wire harness was not connected properly on the board. So I'll wait for some minutes before I measure the purity readings again. So I'll connect the oxygen analyzer and observe purity readings. So as you can see, the analyzer is showing a purity of 95.6%, which means that the loose connection on the board was contributing to the service alarm. So after going through the first problem, which is loose connection of the wire harness on the board, I will now take you through the other problems that you might experience with the valve. So I will just disconnect the analyzer. And then I will switch off the unit. Another problem that may arise with the valve is a misaligned Hall effect sensor. So this is our Hall effect sensor. So the valve uses this sensor to identify its position. So any misalignment of the sensor may cause the valve to stop at incorrect positions, or in some cases, it may rotate continuously. So you just have to make sure that the sensor is properly aligned and also that the screw is tightened. You will find links in the description below of videos on how to service or replace the rotary valve.
Another cause of low oxygen purity in an oxygen concentrator is a faulty control board. This board controls how power and signals are distributed between the various components that are connected to it. These are the air compressor, the cooling fan, as well as the control valve. So I'll be using this model of an oxygen concentrator, the New Life Intensity air sep concentrator, to demonstrate this problem. I'll turn it on and then measure the oxygen purity that is coming out of the oxygen outlet board. I'll set the flow rate to the maximum. I'll then wait for a few minutes for the oxygen purity to stabilize. So as you can see, we're getting a purity of around 27%, which is very low as compared to the recommended values. Now I'll turn off the machine and troubleshoot the problem. will use a flathead screwdriver to loosen the 2 screws that are holding up the covers. So this is the control board I was talking about. So I'll take it out from its position so that we can observe the board closely. This is a tube that is connected to the pressure sensor. So there are several components that are connected to this board. This wire harness is for power supply. These 2 wires are for the fan. And then these other wires connect to the compressor and the control valve. Now I'll turn on the machine and observe how the board will behave. The first thing that you have to check are these 5 LEDs that correspond to how the control valve is functioning. So you have the middle LED that indicates when the equalization valve has been energized, and the top 2 LEDs which indicate the feed valves, and the other ones for the waste valves. So as you can see, this LED has to light up together with this feed LED, and as you can see, it's not turning on. So there can be so many issues that are associated with that, and one of them can be a faulty valve, and also the board itself can be faulty. So I'll turn off the machine and then explain in details on how you can troubleshoot this problem. I will remove the cables that are connected to the board so that we can see it properly. So this is the board, and these are the LEDs. This one is for the equalization valve. These are for feeding the seatbelts, and these are for wasting the seatbelts. So this is the LED that was not lighting up, and on top of it there is its resistor. And if you follow the lines, you have these 5 transistors. So for this LED and the resistor, it's connected to this transistor, and this one on top, the feed valve resistor, is connected to this transistor. The equalization LED is connected to this one, and this one for feeding the left seatbelt is connected to this transistor. And finally, this one that is wasting the left seatbelt is connected to this transistor. So usually when you don't have this LED lighting up, it's because this transistor is damaged, as it is the case with this board. So one easier solution can be to replace this transistor if you have the right tools. In other cases, it is not the transistor that is damaged. It can either be the resistor or the LED itself. So mind you, you have to carry out these checks when you have verified that your valve is working okay and that the cables are not damaged. So I will replace this board with another working board from another oxygen concentrator and see how the concentrator will function. So this is a working control board, and mind you, there are also other components that usually get damaged on this board, but these are to do with power supply. So you have the varistor, these two resistors, and this capacitor. We have already made a video on how to troubleshoot this problem to do with power supply, and you can find a link in the video description below. Now I will replace this folder board with this other board and then observe if that improves the oxygen purity of this oxygen concentrator. Now I'll turn it on and see if all the LEDs are working properly. As you can see, all the 5 LEDs are working properly, meaning to say even the valve is working properly. So I'll go ahead and check the oxygen purity. I'll turn off the machine, replace the covers, and then measure the oxygen purity. Then we turn it on again and make sure you set your flow rate to the max. You wait for a few minutes for the concentrator to stabilize. So as you can see, at a flow rate of 8 liters per minute, the oxygen concentrator is able to produce oxygen at a purity of around 88%. So that is how you can troubleshoot issues to do with a photo control board.
That's what we had for you today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, bye.